Hey, Big Brother fans, I've got spoilers for today's veto competition winner. We're going to find out if Keanu's real target won the veto and will come off the block, or if somebody won that will leave noms the same. Is Vince still going to be on the block when we're here on finale night? We'll see. It's Belinda. Hit that subscribe and let's get into it. All right. As usual, comp results will be in part 2 of the video. But first, we're going to talk about what happened late Friday and early Saturday after the nominations and leading up to the Power Veto competition, including the POV player draw. One of the best lines of the day post-nominations late Friday was Keanu asking Vince if he's gone a single day in this house without crying or complaining. I can answer that. It is no. And then Keanu snapped and said it's not the worst case thing for him if Vince leaves. I mean, there's no doubt Vince's poor, pitiful me strategy is working. Morgan's ready to throw her game away for him. Keanu's backed off targeting him. He was even asking people to use the veto on Vince. To be fair, from the jump, Keanu was telling Vince all along he's not his real target. Morgan is, and nominating Vince was supposed to be a lesson in don't mess with Keanu if you're my ally, kind of an FAFO thing. So Vince told Ava he's feeling frail, really frail, about being on slop as a have-not and the tears and all of it. I think I'm going to call Vince's strategy the Oliver twist. I'm just a sad, helpless little orphan in a beanie, got no job. I'm so pathetic. I'm not an alpha male, so I'm no threat. Please keep me all the way to the end. And oh, get me another bowl of porridge. More, please, sir. And it's working. Vince could Oliver twist himself all the way to final 2. The good thing is, some of Vince's lies are leaking out now that people are talking amongst themselves. He asked Lauren to play the veto on him, but then told Kelley he didn't say it. And Lauren and Kelley talked and confirmed that was a big old lie. And then Keanu also asked Lauren to play and use the veto on Vince. So it kind of didn't matter, except that it was an outed lie. Keanu told Kelley the same thing, play for Vince, take him down. But Kelley is Miss Chaos. So, she could win the veto and not use it just to mess with Keanu, who she secretly hates. I would have liked to have seen that happen. Plus, several people have now realized Kelley's going to be in jury and they're not happy and they would really like to see her on the block and out this week. Keanu told Vince and Kelley that Morgan thinks she has the votes to stay and may use the veto on Vince if she wins it. Mickey is hoping if Rachel played, she'd use the veto on her. Ashley smells trouble. She wanted to play and win the veto to keep noms the same and keep herself off the block, which is smart because Keanu has Ashley on his mind as a possible renom if it comes to it. Meanwhile, Morgan was blaming Mickey and Rachel for her being on the block. No, Keanu wants to steal her cheap man's partner Vince and needs the other woman, aka Morgan, out of the way. And this is funny. Vince told Mickey that he was going to be on the block. This was pre-noms. And she said, but you're Keanu's ally. Is that how we're playing? As if Mickey didn't nominate and evict an ally, Jimmy, and hasn't been targeting her allies. Mickey has some sort of functional amnesia about her BB27 gameplay. So then we got the veto draw on Saturday, and it was a dream scenario for poor Vince, who's acting like a Victorian maiden stricken by consumption, laying up in the have-not room like it's his fainting bed while people pet him and wait on him hand and foot and bring him slop. It's insane. It's Oliver twist. Kelley and Lauren are playing veto in addition to HOH Keanu and nominees Mickey, Vince, and Morgan. And Kelley was cackling later about how it gave her so much joy when Keanu picked her with house guest choice instead of Rachel. And there's a reason, because she would leave noms the same if she got a hold of the veto. So Kelley is back with her retelling of Hammock Gate, adding extra fibbery to it. And she was telling Lauren that Rachel said, we don't want you here. That never happened. I watched the whole thing. It didn't happen. And of course, since Keanu asked Kelley and Lauren to play the veto on Vince, that's why he picked Kelley. So that gives Vinny the Lip, aka Big Brother Sailor Moon, 3 shots to come off the block. 4 if you count Morgan. So after the player draw and leading up to the comp, Rachel took Keanu up a muffin she had made, went up to the HOH and said house gossip hints that Vince could be off the block with the veto, and she's worried she'll be the renom. Keanu insisted he will not renom Rachel, but wants to know who told her that. She said it was house gossip. Keanu decided it must have been Ashley, and he's got her in his head so far locked in as the renom. And legit, Mickey said she might not use the veto if she wanted to keep nominations the same, thinking that she'll stay against Vince. Mickey's math is mathing. You know, I definitely agree there's enough votes to send Vince out with his beanie if he's still on the block Thursday. Will, Ashley, Rachel, and Ava. Plus, if Mickey came down, she would vote with them, and that would leave Lauren and Kelley voting to evict whoever he sat next to. If Morgan came down, she'd vote to keep Vince, but that wouldn't be enough. If Mickey won Blockbuster, she'd be vote 5 against Vince. So with the backyard wide open, the fandom assumed, all right, it's got to be something indoors and small. Do the math on how many comps we've seen already, and we come up with tiny veto. And don't forget, Angela Murray from BB26 was going to be there for it. And I was wondering if she'd wander around making crazy eyes, trying to get them to giggle and knock over their tiny stuff. Also, just before the veto comp, Will suggested that his group cook up a rumor about Kelley that would make Keanu mad enough to put her on the block as the renom. They are thinking anything they can do to get Kelley out before jury. Will was even cam talking and asking America for a power or a vote to get Kelley out this week. When Papa Will, who is human Xanax, has had enough of you, you probably need to rethink your life choices. Now, I didn't see this myself, but another live feeder said one of the reasons he's had it with Kelley was that Will caught her putting a plate down that had crud on it intentionally to cause more ant issues. They said Kelley put down the plate and said, "Have at it, ants." And Will said, "No, give me the plate," and was shaking his head at Kelley, who kind of awkwardly played it off. I didn't see that footage personally, but to be honest, it sounds just like her. Will is over Kelley. So the feeds went down about noon, Big Brother time, came back up almost 3 hours later, and the comp was indeed the tiny veto. As for Angela's role in it, my presumption was pretty close. She was harassing the house guests while they tried to balance all the tiny stuff. I'm not surprised Kelley lost, only because she was talking about getting more coffee to stay awake and was talking about Vince and Morgan napping while she wanted energy. And I thought at the time, ooh, shaky caffeine hands would be super bad in tiny veto. Maybe napping is a better strategy. In the end, the golden power of veto is now in the hands of Morgan. Now, in a sane world, she'd use it on herself, and Keanu would renom probably Ashley, but if Will's strategy worked, maybe Kelley. But crazy obsessed Morgan is talking about using her veto on Vinny the Lip. We'll see. There's still time for her to change her mind and get a grip. But at the time I'm taping this, Morgan said she'd use it on Vince. Wow.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.